Hey, what's up, traders? Today we're going to be breaking down the top stock picks going into this week, the 18th of September. So we're on the daily chart time frame. We will be on the daily chart time frame for any and all analysis that we conduct. What we're looking at here is SPY, SPY. It's been creating, since this recent peak, has been creating lower highs and another lower high, most recently breaking this uptrend trend line and selling off down towards the 50 EMA. So going into next week, what I'm looking for is a continuation drop on SPY down to the bottom side. I would like to see this support over here being broken to give us true confirmation that this most recent sell-off on Friday is something that will be confirmed. So I'm looking to take SPY short next week below $442. That's 442. Just looking for the continuation drop on the way down. And again, my reasoning is because we had this larger uptrend here that is being broken. And because of that, I think that we may still be due for this correction, right? So the lower high here, the lower high here, and we'll see if we get a lower low out of this. Number 2 on the watch list is going to be Apple. So since we are looking for the lower lows on SPY, sticking with that same market sentiment, I think that we also try to look for the lower lows on Apple. Now, this was put out to you last week as a short idea underneath 177 with a price target of 174 in mind. And the reason why is because it was rallied up to this gap area. It rejected the gap area, and then this is where we would have been looking to take the short, right, below 177. So it is finding support right now. Here, I'll zoom out so you can see it a little clearer. It is finding support right here at $174. So yeah, sticking with the market sentiment, I think that we try to look for the continuation drop from here, the break of the support, right? Now, keep in mind, there is a gap area on Apple that begins at about $170, 171, somewhere around there. That's also where your 200 EMA is going to be located. So that's going to be your first level or your first point of support. So Apple will be a short idea under 174 this week with a price target of 171 in mind. And then below that price point, there's a gap to fill all the way down towards 167. All right, so a lot here going on. We'll just take it one step at a time. Apple, short idea below 174, price target 171 or 170. Next one on the watch list is Google. Now, I put this on the list quite a few times last week. I was looking for a breakout of a bull flag, which turned more into a bull pennant, and then we get the break of the bull pennant, but then no continuation move topside here. So it did pull back last Friday, but not as much, but it did pull back with the rest of the market or the majority of the market. But it's still holding up, right? It's still holding up above this downward trend line that we see here. So maybe there is still a chance that Google does give us that continuation move that we were looking for following the breakout of this pennant pattern. So long idea on Google next week above 139 if and only if it can get there. Next one on the watch list is going to be Tesla, of course, right? We have to have Tesla on the list. Breakout of the pennant pattern last week. This was also noted for you, and I know the gap up threw a lot of people off, but after it gapped up, it did give you the continuation, and then each day after that gave you higher highs and higher highs. So, you know, it could have been traded for sure. Tesla, long idea this week. We've got to look for the continuation. Long idea this week above $280 because just above 280, there's a gap to fill from 280 up to 290. So it's a $10 gap overhead. So it's in a strange situation here where there is actually a gap above and then there's a gap below, though the gap below is not super significant. Since it's trading closer to the top side gap, we're looking for the top side fill. So long idea on Tesla above 280 with a price target of 290 going into next week. Netflix, NFLX. Next one on the watch list. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 days of pretty aggressive selling on Netflix. And then you see the volume bars here, big volume bars coming in. It's a news catalyst, right? Netflix selling off back below the $400 whole number. This is pretty significant because it had prior support at 400 over here. So not only is 400 going to be your natural point of support because it's just the whole number, but it's also, the chart is also showing us that historically Netflix has found support at this point, price point in the past. So with it breaking down below 400 currently, the next point of support is going to be down here at the 200 EMA on the daily chart time frame. So I think that as long as Netflix stays below 400 next week, we just look to continue to take this short under each new low that is made. So at this time, Netflix stands to be a short idea under 395, and then the ultimate price target is going to be down here at the 200 EMA, which is right at around 380 roughly. So Netflix, NFLX, short idea below 395. Next one on the watch list is Microsoft. So I included this one on the list last week a few times, quite a few times, just looking for the higher highs, right? I mean, it's been in a pretty steady uptrend, creating higher highs, reclaiming the 50 EMA. It's been grinding, but it has been consistent in making those higher highs. Now, all of a sudden, what are we getting? A rejection at the top of this most recent uptrend, and then a potential break of this uptrend trend line on this candle right here. So we'll be looking to take Microsoft long because this could be signaling a trend change for us, right? Or sorry, we'll be looking to take Microsoft short because this could be signaling a trend change for us. We'll be taking it short below $330, which would not only be a break of this diagonal trend line there, it would also be a break of the 50 EMA here, and would not be following the trend most recently, which is higher highs and higher lows. It'd be putting in that lower low. The very next setup is pretty much identical. This is on Meta, M-E-T-A. Reminds me a lot of Microsoft, right? It's got the most recent uptrend trend line, this channel, if you will, where it's creating higher highs and higher lows. And then right at the end of this trend, we get a sell candle, matching the rest of the market sentiment there on Friday. So this sell candle is breaking the dynamic level of support there, and it has static level of support at the $300 whole number. So we look to take Meta short also for a continuation drop. You can probably just go short below 299, right? Play it safe. Short below 299, looking for the follow through here from this sell candle on Friday. NVIDIA, NVDA, next one on the watch list. I actually really like this setup. This is probably one of my favorite setups out there because, for one, NVIDIA is pretty overextended. I mean, the stock at the beginning of this year was trading at $100. It's now at $500. So right off the rip, it just feels overextended. Number two, we're getting a pullback towards the 50 EMA in consolidation, but then no bounce here, right? We're not seeing that bounce move that we've seen in the past, like over here, for instance, and actually hasn't even pulled back to the 50 EMA in quite a long time. So yeah, we got the bounce last time we were here. We got the bounce this time. We're not seeing that, at least not yet. So NVIDIA is actually showing us that this is breaking down from the 50 EMA rather than breaking or bouncing off of it. Not only is it breaking down from the 50 EMA, which is that green dotted line, but it's also breaking down from the range that was most recently formed, right? The consolidation. So NVIDIA, yeah, we watch for lower lows here. Short idea under $437 this week to continue this drop down to the bottom side. Now, with that being said, NVIDIA as a short idea, I think we should consider AMD as well as a short idea, right? Semiconductor, pretty much same sector. They move similarly, not always, but they do move in tandem sometimes. NVIDIA I had on the watch list as a long idea. If it could break this 50 EMA up here, it just couldn't do it last week. So we actually rejected off of that 50 EMA, and now what are we left with? Well, quite a few things. Number one, we've got prior support back here at the $100 whole number. Number two, we've got the $100 whole number here, which is a line of support, natural point of support, and that's also converging with, you see the blue line there faintly, converging with the 200 EMA on the daily chart time frame. So three things happening here. If AMD fails to hold 100 as a point of support, we look to take it short next week because it would be breaking down and creating a lower low, breaking the whole number at 100 and breaking the 200 EMA on the daily chart time frame. That would be 3 different confirmations to take AMD short below the $100 whole number. I got 2 more for you. The next one is going to be CGC. Normally, I don't add penny stocks to the watch list, but pot stocks have been getting some momentum recently. So recent legislation moving towards decriminalizing and legalizing pot or weed in the United States on a federal level. It's happening. It's just that every time that I feel like these bills or legislations get towards the office, they wind up pushing it back further, or now's not the right time, declining it. So we're back to that momentum again, right? There's legislation moving through, and that's what caused this peak. So this looks like a bull flag pattern to me, regardless of what the news is. Technically, it's a good setup. Looks like a bull flag pattern to me, shaping up. Started to press out above that bull flag pattern, being compressed under, again, that 200 EMA on the daily chart time frame, right? That's going to be that blue line. I think that we look for a continuation this week. We look for the higher highs. So instead of trying to take it long anywhere between this peak and the top of the bull flag pattern, I think that we maybe leave that alone and let that happen without us. But on a break of $1.80, we start to look towards the next point of resistance, which is going to be the $2 level overhead. So CGC, set your alerts at or above $1.80, looking to take it long up to $2 plus. We'll see if this momentum can continue. Next one and final one, and this is actually not on my watch list for this week, but it probably will wind up on my watch list at some point. I mean, it could wind up next week, but I just want to put this on radar. This is PayPal, PYPL. You see the big gray shaded area up here? That's going to be a gap. There's a gap on PayPal from $67 all the way up to 72 plus. That's an 8% profit margin that's available right there. 8%. Now, I'm not saying that PayPal is going to push up into that gap this week because it's pretty far off. It actually sold off. It's still not even over the 50 EMA, if we're being fair, right? So PayPal still needs to move from where it's at up to the gap area, which is about a 4% move, and then enter into the gap area and move for us to even want to profit on this. But what I want to bring, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I want you to set your alerts at $67. Set your alerts at $67 on PayPal. It may not go off this week. It may not go off next week. It may not go off in the next 2 months. But when $67 is hit for the first time and PayPal starts to enter into this gap, watch out. That's an 8% profit margin that's possible there, and I think that we can make a trade happen. Cool? All right. Press that like button for me if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for your time. I hope that the videos helped you out. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, by the way, if you haven't done that either. I post some really great information there from time to time. Have a great weekend. Again, thank you for your time, and I'll see you all in chat. Take care.